Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and from unboxings.com, and here we are looking at the Sanyo Xacti VPC-CA100. We've looked at a lot of cameras in the Xacti range in the past, and I'm actually recording this on an HD 1010, and we've used an HD 1000 and an HD 2000 for doing our recording. For the unboxing videos, we actually found that the HD 1010 seems to give us the best results. But we've looked at a lot of these in the past. More recently, we've looked at the CA9. And this particular model, as I say, the CA100, is actually one of their waterproof models. CA9 was one that we looked at a little while ago, which was also waterproof, and this is sort of kind of the newer version or newer waterproof model that they have. So first of all, in the box we have the Sanyo Xacti software CD, and important notice concerning our camera's waterproof feature. This particular model will go down to up to 3 meters. Which is great, I guess. You know, it's swimming pool, maybe snorkeling. Obviously, not going to go deep sea diving with it, but it's not designed for that, obviously. But that's up from the previous model, which was only 1.5 meters, which was a bit limiting. You know, you'd probably find swimming pools that were deeper than that, and certainly snorkeling. But 3 meters now. And the other benefit of the new CA100 is that it will record 1080, whereas the other waterproof models were limited to 720p. We'll look at that in a second. Information relating to moisture inside battery cover, about MPEG-4 standards, basic guide for operation, which covers most of the things that you've got here: installing the battery, installing the memory card, installing software and using the software that comes with it, and a few other bits and pieces. Safety manual, and basically 2 quick guides. In different languages, but it's a fold-out quick guide. Again, covers the basics, including installing the battery and turning on, installing the memory card, and even tells you how to refold the manual afterwards. Wow, that's really good. So let's take a look inside the box. Let's pull the camera out first of all, and nice bright yellow model that we have here. There are other colours available. This sort of this yellow tends to lend itself to those that anybody might do snorkeling or diving, but there is also a black and a pink model, and I think this is quite attractive. We'll come back to it in a second though and look at that in a bit more detail. See what else is in the box. So we have I think that's Australian style pins on that connector there for the wall charger. European 2 round pins. UK 3 square pin, which we're going to need. Charger itself, which is USB style, which is great. I like the fact that these cameras will charge over USB, and obviously the socket will just plug in there. There we go, and that gives us our charger. Also in the box we have a tiny battery, which is well sealed, so I'll just rip that open. And the battery is really small, especially in comparison to the camera. And it's a 700 mAh battery, but apparently gives very long battery life in recording time. So we'll obviously comment on that when we come to do the review once we've been able to use it. There's a wrist strap. That's just a standard fabric style wrist strap. Now the other thing that's available for this camera is a float wrist strap, which is a bit chunkier. But that means if you lose it or it comes off your wrist or whatever, when you're in water, the camera itself floats. So that's probably a benefit, and something that definitely to be invested in if you're going to use this seriously in water. Then we have a video cable. So this is a composite and audio, but only 1 channel audio, and that plugs into what is essentially a micro USB style connector. And then last of all, that's all we have in the box. Last of all, we have a micro USB. I won't bother to open it. It's a micro USB to micro USB cable. Can be used for sync to download your movies from the camera onto your PC or Mac, or also to charge. So let's take a look around the camera. Immediately I'm impressed with this, just in terms of design. It's nice and shiny, it's nice smooth lines. Very glossy finish, and it looks the part. It looks like value for money. It looks well built. It feels quite solid. Not ever so heavy. 242 grams once we put the battery in, which I don't think is overly heavy. bit larger than the previous CA9 model, as I say that, which was the previous waterproof model. It's a bit larger than that, it's a bit chunkier, but about on par for weight. Dimensions, well, it's pretty hard to give you dimensions on something that's sort of irregularly shaped like this, but it is approximately 123 millimeters, sort of the longest point, and it's about 90 millimeters at the widest when it's open, and about 40 millimeters thick at the thickest part where the sort of lens is here at the top. Has a 14 megapixel sensor, does record at 1920 by 1080, either 60 or 30 frames a second, whether or not you want to record in interlaced or progressive scan mode, PRI. It does record in 720p as well, and various other shooting modes. You don't have to use HD, you can use lower shooting modes if you want to get more on a memory card, then obviously you can do so, down to VGA I believe. Inside we have a 2.7 inch display, which is widescreen. It isn't touchscreen, but obviously that's just for reviewing your video, or actually, because there's no viewfinder as such. Most cameras have these now with a screen on the side, so you can watch what you're recording and obviously play it back, and also for accessing the menus. We'll look at that, the menus again in a second. Obviously you can rotate that all the way around, so you can video yourself, or you can rotate it all the other way, so you can lay it flat. Either way, I'm not sure which way around that would be, but when you lay it flat you can actually watch the video back without having it poking outside. Inside we have an on-off button there, which is, well, this whole area here is sort of like membrane sort of style, waterproofed. So the on-off button is just like a soft push button. Then the menu, the record, up and down controls for actually getting into the menu settings, the set button, and a play and record button inside. Then we have a release here, so this gets us access to the mini HDMI connector and the USB or AV connector. So that's on one micro USB style connector, so it is micro USB as well as being video connector as well, so you can output to your TV or whatever if it doesn't use HDMI. And that cover there has a waterproof or rubber stopper or rubber gasket around it, so that obviously stops the water getting in there, and it clicks closed and it has a cover there, and that's quite secure. It says there lock warning, make sure it clicks when you close it. On the bottom there is a 1/4 inch screw threaded connector there, which allows us to mount it on a tripod. And if we close that up and go around to the top, controls here for zoom, so it can zoom in and out. And we have the camera button and the video button, because we can record still as well as moving video. We can record stills, that's why they call it the dual camera. So it's got a 14 megapixel sensor, so 14 megapixel stills, and video recording as well. And also does allow you to record stills or take a snapshot while you're recording moving video images, which not too many cameras on the market do at the moment. Often when you actually press the still button, it will interrupt the video recording, whereas this camera doesn't do that, which is pretty cool. On the other side we have a compartment which we'll just unlock, and that gives us access to a micro well, actually an SD card socket, which is under the battery. So we pop that in like so, that's our SD card, and then the battery pops in place, which way around, that way around. And as I say, small battery, it seems unusually small for the size of the camera. Cover pops in, again the cover inside has a rubber seal around it, so that when we close it up and lock it, that should be, well, it's intended to be, let's hope it is, waterproof. I'm sure it is. On the front we have the lens itself. As I say, has got a really good zoom actually. It's the 12 times zoom, which is very much improved from earlier waterproof models. The waterproof models tend to only have, I think the previous one was only 5 times zoom, this is 12. And then also a xenon flash on the front, great for using as a still camera as well. That isn't a video light though, it is only a flash. Unusually, I haven't seen it in the box. Let me just review. I haven't missed anything. I don't think I have, because this is all pretty actually glued up quite well. These cameras normally come with a lens cover that goes on the wrist strap. This one doesn't seem to have it, and it doesn't look like it would be easy to, I don't think it's an accessory because I can't see how it would actually clip on. But generally they do come with a cover, and this one hasn't, so that's a bit unusual, a bit of a shame. And often they would have a pop-up flash, but obviously this one has it on the front. Run down quickly the specification. I think I've covered most things already, but as I say, 1080p recording, 14 megapixels, records in MPEG-4, AVC or H.264. Digital zoom does also have a digital zoom, so you can go crazy with the zoom range. Digital zoom is also 10 times, so combined with the optical zoom, it'd be quite phenomenal. 2.7-inch display inside, which is a TFT colour display. Let's see if we can actually just power up. There you go, and the flashing light on here, it is going to start up, that's great. So we can go and set the date and time. Now the other cameras used to have the controls here for actually navigating through the menus, they are here. It's going to be slightly more awkward perhaps to do, but let's go ahead and see if we can go through the menus. So let's go and set the time, date, there we go, and menu, which button? That button there. Okay, and it tells me that we've got the memory card installed. Our recording time in full HD on an 8 gig memory card is reporting just over 1 hour. You can see there. It has the camera shake feature enabled. And for stills, we're in 14 megapixel mode, and we could record or could save 1673 still images on this memory card at that setting. And if I've got something else in the way, not terribly interesting, maybe a cable, there we go, just in the viewfinder. The zoom, obviously we're quite close to use that full zoom, but we can zoom. And then we could use the mega zoom, which is a little bit extreme for how close we are. You get the idea. So that's your zoom controls on the side. Start and stop recording. Take a still is there as well. So in the menus, go into the menu. You've got different video modes. So you can change the video mode to these following settings. Say the lowest recording mode is VGA, and if I was to set it to VGA and we exit, we can actually record over 4 hours, 4.25 hours in VGA on an 8 gig memory card, not bad. I tend to do most of my video recording in 1280 by 720 at 30 frames per second SHQ, and that would give us, I would imagine, about 2 hours. Let's have a look. Oh, an hour and 44 minutes, hour and 45 minutes on an 8 gig memory card, so that's not bad. In terms of what else we have, we change different photo modes, the scene modes, filters, flash, set to automatic self-timer. And then in the other settings, we've got video stabilizer modes and photo stabilizer, focus range, focus mode, exposure mode, ISO is set to auto, white balance, exposure target, high sensitivity, digital zoom, and the recording folder setup. And then you've got the settings for the actual camera settings for clock, what else, shortcuts, noise reduction, languages, and TV out formats and formatting the memory card and all that kind of stuff. So all pretty straightforward. So I'm going to do a full review of the CA100 over the next couple of weeks. I'm quite looking forward to using it. I don't think I'm going to be able to take it to the local pool. They tend to frown upon that, but and I haven't got any trips abroad, unfortunately, over the next couple of weeks. But we will be trying it out in the dry, as it were. And I've tried recording a couple of actual unboxing videos with it and give you a comparison of the quality compared to some of the other cameras that we have used in the past. Do a full review of features, and take some stills and that kind of stuff, and include that in the review, which will be up in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's twitter.com/TracyandMatt, or on Facebook, it's facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. We'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on tracingback.co.uk, and we're going to be attending NWC in just a couple of weeks as well, so we're going to be pretty busy over the next couple of weeks, which is great. So for now, thanks for watching.
Bitdefender is dedicated to protecting people's digital lives, so working with Unboxings.com to help preview and review the latest technology is a perfect fit.